I still remember the exact second my world cracked open. It was the morning of my only son's wedding, the air thick with the scent of lilies and fresh coffee. I'd spent weeks sewing tiny pearls onto Emily's veil with these arthritic fingers, humming the lullaby I once sang to Daniel in his crib. Then the door swung wide, and there he stood, my boy, tall in his tuxedo, face twisted like I was a stranger. "Mom," he said, voice flat as winter pavement, "Emily doesn't want you here. You're embarrassing. Just go." The words hit harder than any slap. I felt the pearls scatter from my trembling hands, rolling across the hardwood like tears I couldn't shed yet. That was the moment everything I'd built for 35 years shattered. And what I whispered next, quiet, steady, lethal, silenced the entire room. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back, slow, the way an old woman unfolds a lifetime of ache. My name is Margaret Rose Callahan, though most folks just call me Maggie. I'm 68, widowed 12 years come February, and I live in the same cedar-shingled house on Maple Lane where I raised Daniel and his sister Claire. The floors still creak in the same spots. The kitchen window still fogs when the kettle sings. Every morning I wake at 5:30 before the robins and pad barefoot across the cold pine planks to start the coffee. The percolator hisses like it's gossiping with the ghosts of every breakfast I ever cooked for my children. I measure 2 scoops of Folgers the way Tom liked it, strong enough to wake the dead. Then I fold the laundry I left in the dryer overnight, tiny socks that aren't tiny anymore, Daniel's old high school t-shirts now soft as flannel memories. I press my cheek to the warm cotton and breathe in the ghost of Downy and little boy sweat. Some mornings the scent stings worse than onion. Outside, the garden waits under a thin skin of frost. I tug on Tom's old barn coat, still smells faintly of sawdust and Old Spice, and shuffle between the raised beds. The rosemary survived another winter. I pinch a sprig and crush it between my fingers. The sharp green smell floods me back to 1998. Daniel, age 6, face smeared with dirt, presenting me a fistful of dandelions like they were rubies. "For you, Mama, 'cause you're the queen." I kept those weeds pressed between the pages of my Bible for 20 years. They're dust now, like so many promises. I sacrifice the way mothers do, quietly, daily, until the bones remember the weight. When Tom's heart gave out in the lumberyard, the medical bills swallowed our savings whole. I took the night shift at the hospital, mopping corridors that reeked of bleach and fear, coming home at dawn to fry eggs and braid Claire's hair. Daniel wanted cleats. I sold my mother's silver thimble collection. College tuition? I cashed the life insurance I'd meant for my own old age. Every paycheck, every skipped meal, every skipped movie with girlfriends. I folded it into their futures like origami cranes. It's what parents do, I told myself, wiping flour from the counter after baking Daniel's favorite lemon bars for the girlfriend of the month. Emily was girlfriend number 4, I think. Or 5. They blurred after a while. Emily arrived like spring frost, pretty but deadly to tender shoots. Blonde, manicured, voice like wind chimes dipped in honey. First time she visited, she wrinkled her nose at my meatloaf. "Carbs are the enemy, Mrs. C." I smiled, swallowed the hurt, and served her grilled chicken the next Sunday. She posted photos of my dining room on Instagram, rustic chick, without ever asking. Daniel started echoing her. "Mom, maybe update the curtains? They're so 90s. I laughed it off, but the laugh tasted like rust. The wedding plans grew like kudzu. Emily wanted peonies flown in from Holland, a string quartet, a venue with marble floors. The quotes came in at $60,000. Daniel slid the spreadsheet across my kitchen table one Tuesday night, eyes bright with entitlement. "You've got equity in the house, right? A second mortgage is basically free money." I stared at the numbers until they swam. My hands, veined, spotted, the same hands that changed his diapers, curled into fists beneath the table. "This is your father's house," I said softly. He rolled his eyes. "Dad's gone, Mom. Time to live a little." Live a little. As if I hadn't spent decades dying in installments. I signed the papers anyway. The bank officer's pen felt like a scalpel. That night, I sat on the porch swing, the one Tom built the summer Claire was born, and watched fireflies blink against the dark. I thought of my own wedding. 50 guests, potluck casserole, a borrowed dress with lace I'd sewn myself. We danced to a boombox playing Patsy Cline. Cost $300 and a lifetime of love. I cried without sound, shoulders shaking so hard the chain squeaked. Daniel never noticed. The morning of the wedding, I woke before the alarm. The house felt hushed, like it knew. I ironed Daniel's shirt, starched the collar just how he liked. I laid out Emily's veil on the guest bed, the pearls glinting like tiny moons. Then I heard the front door. Footsteps, 2 sets. Daniel's voice, low and urgent. Emily's sharper. She'll hover, Danny, she always does. And those stories about your potty training? Mortifying, a pause. Then my son, I'll handle it. Like I was a leaking faucet. I met them in the hallway. Sunlight sliced through the blinds, striping the floor in prison bars. Emily wore yoga pants and a smirk. Daniel wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom, he started, then the words I'll never unhear. Emily doesn't want you there. You're too much. Just stay home. Too much. After 35 years of never enough. The veil slipped from my fingers, pearls pattering like hail. Emily stepped over them without looking down. Something inside me, maybe the last shred of the girl who once believed love was limitless, snapped clean. I looked at my son, really looked. The jaw I'd kissed 1,000 fevered nights, now clenched in disdain. I drew a breath that tasted of iron and rosemary. Fine, I said, voice steady as the grandfather clock in the hall. But understand this, Daniel. Today you choose. And choices have weight. Emily laughed, actually laughed. Daniel shifted, uncomfortable. I continued softer, deadly. Enjoy your marble floors. They're cold at night. I turned, walked to my bedroom, and closed the door with a click that echoed like a gavel. Behind it, I did not cry. I opened the safe Tom installed behind the watercolor of the lighthouse, our honeymoon spot, and removed the manila folder I'd prepared 6 months earlier when the first whispers of doubt crept in. Inside, the quitclaim deed returning the house solely to my name. The second mortgage was in Daniel's, not mine. The revised will leaving everything to the children's hospital where I'd mopped floors. The letter to my lawyer instructing immediate lock changes. I'd paid cash for it all, scraping overtime like a miser. Sacrifice again, but this time for me. By noon, the locksmith's truck sat in the driveway. By 2, new keys glinted in my palm, cool and final. I packed 1 suitcase, Tom's old Navy duffel, and left the wedding gift, a check for $10,000 on the kitchen table with a note. For the peonies. May they outlast your gratitude. I walked out without looking back. The screen door slapped shut like applause. They noticed 3 days later when the honeymoon Venmo requests bounced. Daniel's text escalated from confusion to rage. What the hell, Mom? Then the voicemail, Emily's voice shrill. You're ruining our marriage. I listened once, deleted, blocked. The silence that followed was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. I rented a cottage by the ocean, small, salt-bleached, with a widow's walk where I drink coffee at sunrise. The waves keep perfect time, unlike children. I planted rosemary in a pot by the door. It thrives. Some mornings I unfold Tom's coat and breathe him in. I volunteer at the library now, reading to toddlers who smell like Johnson's baby shampoo and possibility. My hands, still veined, still spotted, turn pages instead of wringing themselves raw. Last week a letter came forwarded from Maple Lane. Daniel's handwriting, shaky. Mom, we need to talk. The bank. I fed it to the kitchen match without reading further. The flame curled blue, then gold, then nothing. Ashes to ashes. I kept one thing from the old house, the pressed dandelions, brittle between psalms. I placed them on the windowsill where gulls wheel and cry. They remind me love can be fierce and fleeting, like childhood, like marriage, like spring. But dignity? Dignity is perennial. It blooms in silence, watered by boundaries, fertilized by every no we were too kind to speak sooner. So here's the moral, dear heart, the one I whisper to the tide. Never mistake sacrifice for surrender. The moment they forget your worth, remember it for them, with a closed door, a turned key, a life reclaimed. The house on Maple Lane stands empty now, curtains drawn, rosemary run wild. Let it. I have an ocean view, a clear conscience, and a heart finally, blessedly my own.